Also, as you said, Laro over the middle. I think that's where Jenkins will be looking for the big tight end. Over the middle, he scored a touchdown last week against Don Bosco with a nice one-handed catch and then a 52-yard run into the end zone.
We mentioned a couple of people will be missing this ball game. Being unfamiliar with the Beverly team, I'm not sure about. They have their key operators in anyway. They're the main people at the main positions, the backs, Treffry and Peters. English will be missing Mike Holland. A tough situation for Mike with a knee problem. It's up in the air whether he'll be back the rest of the year or not. We wish him well, and unfortunately for Kevin McCullough, who is a super nice kid, I got to meet him during baseball season. Had an unfortunate accident during preseason practice, I believe, and he's going to miss most of the year. So it's unfortunate for the Bulldogs, but they've got a big running back, Joe Cipoletti, who'll be back in the lineup, used between quarterback and halfback last year. This year he can settle in at the halfback spot because Eddie Jenkins is really doing the job at quarterback. So it should be an interesting ball game. The power of Beverly against the power really of the front line, defensive line of English with Pat Barr and Greg Landry and Jason Kavanaugh and John Countess, people like that, Dave Bettinger. It should be a good ball game, and we're looking forward to the kickoff.
Well, it's a beautiful day for football, too, John. The temperature here at game time is about 72 degrees. The flip was won by Beverly, so they will receive the opening kickoff. We're just about set to get going.
Okay, as we look over, it's going to be 32, who is Dana Peters to the far side. To the near side is number 30, who is Winston Treffry. And down the middle is 23, Kevin Piesewitz, who is their flanker. So they've got their two ace backs plus their flanker back deep, looking for the opening kick, which is going to come from, I believe, Jimmy Smith. So we're getting set. Jimmy Smith looking over to make sure everything is lined up right. The officials getting ready. And we're just about set for this TV13's kickoff for the Northeast Conference. English versus Beverly. Both teams 1-0. As Jimmy Smith gets ready, we're set to play. The official sounds the whistle. And as Smitty kicks the ball, we're underway. A long kick deep inside the 10 to about the 8. Taken there by Piesewitz. Straight up the middle. Gets good running room. Gets out across the 30 to about the 33-yard line where Beverly will set up. Jeff Benevento was in there on the tackle for English. So it's 1st and 10. They put the ball at the 33, and Beverly has the ball first.
Well, Beverly's going to start out with decent field possession here on their opening drive. Remember the game one for Lynn English. Don Bosco drove the ball efficiently down the field for their only points of the football game. English will need to get off to a faster start here, John.
Jason Shears, the quarterback for Beverly, with the two backs. The pitch deep to Peters. Sweeping right, gets hit and knocked down at about the 35. Picked up a couple of yards. Now they put it out across the 35 to the 36. So it picks up 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. The big guys up front are going to have to try and contain Mr. Peters and Mr. Treffry. Everybody in tight for Beverly. The give to Treffry. Stopped almost at the line of scrimmage. Might have picked up a yard.
That was John Taunter in on the tackle. Very quickly, John, the defensive line for Lynn English today will have John Taunter in the middle. Jason Kavanaugh, number 50, plays at tackle along with Pat Barr, number 70. And on the ends, Greg Landry, number 73, and James Smith, number 19.
Big 3rd down play here for Beverly. The ball's at the 37, so we'll call it 3rd and 6. See if they stay with their backs or if they try to throw the ball here. Everybody in tight for Beverly again. Shears with the give, straight ahead to Treffry. Good. Just about made it to the 40-yard line before he's knocked down on the play.
Lynn English secondary had to come up to help make that tackle.
Todd Gilbert, one of the backers.
And number 7, Kevin Lowry, was also.
Stop picking up Todd Gilbert's number. He's got it tied tight. He's also a running back. He doesn't want anybody to get a hold of that shirt. But he made a good stick, so it's 4th down, and Damon Morris, number 30, and Joey Cipoletti, number 10, are the deep men. Snap is high, but the kick is off. Takes a Beverly bounce. English backs away, and the ball bounces finally down by Beverly at about the 25-yard line of English. So English defensively holds Beverly the first time. The ball changes hands. It'll be English taking over. 1st and 10 at their 25. While we have this moment, we'll tell you that today's game is being brought to you by Athens Fuel of Lynn, Atlantic Care Medical Center of Lynn, Posse Pizza of Lynn, Stat Courier Service of Lynn, and Standard of Lynn, and we thank them very much for their support. First and 10, the Bulldogs. It'll be Jenkins at quarterback as they break out. Damon Morris along with Todd Gilbert in the backfield. The give to Morris, sweeping the left side. Good speed, gets to the outside, got Gilbert out in front of him. Gets hit, falls forward to almost the 30-yard line, picks up 4 or 5 big yards on the first play. Good opening play by English as they pick up 4 yards on the play. Morris using his speed, following Gilbert around English's left side, picking up a big 4 yards on the play. 2nd down and 6 for the Bulldogs. Cipoletti in the ball game now with Gilbert. The give to Gilbert. Right about the line of scrimmage, knocked down. Beverly read the play there. No gain on the play, so it's going to be 3rd and 6. And this was when we may see Mr. Jenkins air it out. He had a big game against Bosco, going 7 for 8 for almost 200 yards, 196 yards. He's got Kevin Lowry flanked to the near side. The give instead is to Gilbert. The ball was fumbled ahead. If English recover the football, it's a 1st down. We're looking for... They've been working on this play all spring, fumbling the ball forward for a 1st down.
They got enough practice in the Don Bosco game, that's for sure.
They get across the 35 to the 36, and it's a 1st down English. So English, I'm sure, will take it any way they can get it. They don't want to have to do that all afternoon, but they'll take that play the way it turned out. So instead of a punting situation, it winds up a 1st down on the fumble recovery. 1st and 10, the ball just over the 35. Cipoletti goes in motion. Jenkins looking downfield. Throws to his tight end, Gordon Laro. Stays in his feet, gets across the 40 to about the 42. So they send Cipoletti in motion to the near side, trying to draw the defender out, and then slip Laro into the flat. Hit him with a pass. He picks up, we'll call it 6, almost 7. 2nd and 4 for the Bulldogs at their own 42.
That was John Caraca that was in on the tackle for Beverly. Actually, they had a game tackle, the big tight end for the Bulldogs right there.
He's not only strong, he's very quick, as we saw last week. He runs away from people. Cipoletti and Gilbert in the backfield. A give to Cipoletti. Off his right side, gets out to the 45-yard line. Close to a 1st down. The whistle was blown. Beverly is looking for a takeaway, but the official's saying no. Winston Treffery is in the end zone, as you see him right there. He took the ball away, but the official is saying no good. The whistle sounded. The play was whistled dead.
And as might,
go ahead, John.
sorry, and as might be expected, the Beverly Panther fans do not like that call at all, John.
Well, I think what happened was the official thought that his forward progress was stopped, and they blew the whistle. So it's going to be 3rd down and less than a yard for the Bulldogs. Gilbert and Morris in the backfield. Jenkins keeps quarterback sneak. Easily gets the 1st down out to about the 48 or 49-yard line. So the Bulldogs have strung 2 1st downs together, and they keep their drive alive.
Kevin Pisawick was in on the tackle for Beverly there, John. So English is moving the ball downfield, and they're doing it in an efficient style.
They've only thrown the ball once to the big tight end, Gordon Laro. It was good for 5 or 6 yards. Other than that, it's been the backs with 3 or 4 yards a clip after that big fumble recovery. Gave them the 1st down. At the 48-yard line of English, 1st and 10. And the flag is down. The pass threw the ball behind. I think Jenkins thought Laro was going to turn inside. He turned outside, and the ball's behind him, incomplete. There's a flag on the play, and it's against English. And I'm looking on the sidelines, and the Beverly coaches are waving refuse. One of the linemen, at least one of the linemen, and one of the backs got a little head start on the play. And it is refused, so it's going to be 2nd and 10 on the incomplete pass. As we're down just about 8 minutes to play here in the first period. English, after holding Beverly on their initial possession, took over with the help of a fumble recovery on 3rd down, a fumble forward recovery. They wound up with a 1st down, and they strung another one together, and now they find themselves at their own 48-yard line, 2nd and 10. Jenkins at quarterback. Gordon Laro now in motion. The pitch to Cipoletti, sweeping left. Cuts it back up inside. And a good piece of defense by Cal Savizio. Cut inside behind the block and caught Cipoletti from behind and knocked him down at the line of scrimmage.
Panther defense right now stringing out along the line of scrimmage. And here it is on replay. There's a pitch back to Cipoletti. He has nowhere to go, and here's a good tackle made by the Beverly Panther defense.
1 second more, I think he could have cut it to the outside, but he had to make his decision quickly. He cut it back up inside, and Savizio was there to make the stop. Jenkins looking to throw. Throws it long downfield. There's a man down there too far. Incomplete. It was Jim Smith, the intended receiver. He had a step on the defense, but the pass was thrown a little bit too far. So it's going to bring up a 4th down, and English is going to have to kick the football away.
Well, John, at least English moved the ball to midfield, so they could push Beverly way back here with a decent punt.
Cipoletti handles the snap. Gets the kickoff, angles it to the sideline, picked off in the air by Pisowitz. Gets a good block, good speed, gets to the outside, and gets it back. And we're going to flag on the play. So English is going to be penalized as well. The ball's across the 35 to about the 37. And I have to say, Donnie, I think that flag was initiated by the Beverly coaching staff. I don't think there was really that much contact after he was down. And I think the Beverly coaching staff kind of intimidated the officials or talked them into that call. And it's going to mean a 1st down for Beverly all the way down to the English 46-yard line. So the first big break in the game, actually the 2nd break, we'll call the fumble recovery by English a break, goes to Beverly, and they have a 1st and 10 at the English 46. Jason shares with those 2 halfbacks, Jeffrey and Peters. The ball's fumbled. That bar right there to make sure he doesn't go any further. Shares had a fall on it, and it's going to be 2nd down and 10 at the 46. So a little trouble with the snap that time.
Looked like Shares backed away from the ball before he had it.
No question. He was on the move before the ball was snapped. Maybe a problem with the count. So it's 2nd and 10 now. The pitch this time in the backfield, and that was Adam Mott, the wide receiver who set up in the backfield, gets inside the 45, mark it down at the 41, so it's going to be 3rd and 5. So they threw a little wrinkle in there, throwing in who we thought was 30 was actually 80. We thought it was Winston Treffry.
Big play here for the Lynn English defense, John.
Shears again, the quarterback, calling signals. The pitch to Mott again, trying to go to the right side. He's not going to get back to the line of scrimmage. It's going to bring up a 4th down.
Good play by the right side of Lynn English defense, led by Pat Barr and Greg Landry right there. It's going to force a 4th down for the Beverly Panthers. What do you think they're going to do, John?
If I was Beverly, I would punt the football right here. It's 4th and long. And the way the game is going so far, it looks like the defense is going to have to do the job. And field position could make a big deal of difference in this ball game. Breaks. The fake now. Shears throws the pass incomplete. Beverly went for it. They lined up in punt formation. Shears tried to throw the quick look into Dana Peters. He was open, and he would have had the 1st down. He would have got inside the 35, which was 1st down territory. But it went through his hands, incomplete, and English gets a break. They wind up with good field position at their 41-yard line. I think the question asked, Donnie, is Mott in the backfield and not Winston Treffery. It's a little stunner here. I don't know what the situation is.
We'll have to send a reporter down to the sideline and find out what's going on down there.
Maybe we get a break. We can talk to one of the Beverly coaches. I don't know if he's got an injury of some type, or we'll see as we go along. Jenkins, the quarterback. Gilbert goes in motion. The pitch to Cipoletti, going to the right side. Tries to cut it back inside, and now he had a lot of room to go. He had Gilbert out in front. He had Pat Barr out in front, and he slipped and fell.
Couldn't quite make the turn right there.
Just lost his footing, or he would have gone a long way. As it is, he picked up 4 on the play, so it'll be 2nd and 6.
Lynn was trying to find a solution here to the Beverly defense. They've tried running to the left. Now they come back to the right side. Maybe they'll go up the middle this time.
As you saw in the replay there, it's just his feet went out from under him. He had a lot of room to run. Jenkins, the give straight ahead to Cipoletti. Gets over the 50 into Beverly territory for a first down, but we're going to have a flag on the play, and it might be a holding call against English. And that's what it's going to be. Holding against English is going to nullify the first down run by Cipoletti. Quick opener. And they've got the people up front who can open up those holes for the Bulldogs. Unfortunately, the hold is going to bring it back. We'll see where they mark it off from. The ball is going to be down inside the 40, down to the 38-yard line. So it's going to be 2nd, and we'll call it 13. And we'll see if they go to Mr. Laro. Jenkins to Laro. This is a situation where they sometimes would go to Mike Holland. Unfortunately, with the tough knee problem, Mike is out of the ball game. And again, as we mentioned before, we wish him well. But the Bulldogs. Good shot there of Jenkins at quarterback as Laro goes in motion. The quick give to Morris. He's open. 1 man to beat. He shoots, cuts back inside. Nice job by Damon Morris to get inside the 30. And a good job by English, opening up a huge hole up inside.
Oh, credit the offensive line for Lynn English right there with opening that large hole. Here it is on the replay, and Morris, nobody touches him until he gets across midfield all the way down to the Panther 26-yard line. And you got to credit the offensive line of Lynn English, of number 76, John Tontes, Dave Benninger up there, Greg Landry at center, Jason Kavanaugh, and Patrick Barr.
A nice job of English that time. They ran that play once before, putting Laro in motion with the pitch going wide. This time they fake the pitch with everybody out in front blocking, and they open up the trap inside, and a big hole for Morris. The give straight ahead to Gilbert. Bounces off the right side, gets inside the 25 to about the 23. He's picking up 3 or 4 yards.
Getting back to Morris for a minute, last week against Don Bosco, he ran for over 100 yards. He's, I think, the secret weapon for the Bulldogs right now in the season.
He certainly hits that hole in a hurry. They're down to the 22. He picked up, we'll call it 5. It's going to be 2nd and 5. And the guys up front doing a big job for the Bulldogs so far. Greg Landry, big lineman, up in front to try to lead the blocking for English as they bounce off the left side. They've got 2 big gentlemen in the backfield. They've got Landry, who is normally a lineman, along with Gordon Laro, and just putting the back in behind them, and it's hard to even find them behind those 2 big guys as they get down inside the 20 to the 18. So it's going to be 3rd and 1.
That was Lon Hammer on the tackle for the Beverly Panthers.
A new little wrinkle here for the Bulldogs, putting these big guys in the backfield. As we see it again, Cipoletti, the lone back. The give to Cipoletti off the right side. Almost gets loose, gets to the 16 for the first down. And it's just go-ahead football, punishing football for English. They've got Landry and Laro, the 2 L-boys, blocking for whichever back they have in the ball game. And it's worked so far as they've driven down to the 16-yard line of Beverly for a 1st and 10.
That was Rick Forrest who made the tackle for Beverly, or Cipoletti might have been gone in the end zone for a touchdown right there.
And he almost shook him loose. He was 1 step away again. They've been 1 step away from big gainers. Morris and Gilbert this time in the backfield. A give straight ahead. Morris, quick feed. He see that hole in quite a hurry. He gets down inside the 10 to about the 8 or 9. And they're picking up big yardage on first down. That's the key so far for the Bulldogs.
Well, anytime you can break through that defensive line and force the safeties and the cornerbacks to come up to make the tackles, you're going to gain the yardage, John. And right now, Lynn English is playing textbook football.
Well, they're opening up big holes up front, and the difference is that those backs are getting to him in a hurry. Morris was there just as the hole opened and burst through for a big 7 yards, so it's 2nd and 3. Jenkins, this time with the give to Gilbert. Straight ahead, veers a little to his left, gets down close to the 5-yard line in first down territory. We're waiting for a signal from the official. The first sign we get is that the first period is over, and the ball is inside the 5 at the 4. It's going to be 1st and goal when the first period, as the first period comes to an end. So the score is 0-0. We'll be right back.
Day deliveries, why bother with some national delivery service when you can call on Stat Courier Service? For fast, dependable service at good rates, call toll-free 1-800-541-STAT, or locally, the number to call is 617-595-7520. That's Stat Courier Service, another one of the fine sponsors of Lynn English football on TV 13.
As we start the second period, English threatening in close. We said it was the 4, it was actually the 3. Now they get down to the 1-yard line as Gilbert goes straight ahead with the handoff. So they're 1 yard away from gaining the momentum here in this big ball game, Northeast Conference opener for both these teams. Jenkins over the football. Laro goes in motion. Jenkins keeps on a quarterback sneak. He's in for the touchdown. Jenkins, they sent everybody in motion again. Jenkins just veered a little bit to his right, snuck in for the 6 points. And very quickly, to start the second period, English goes on top 6-0.
Well, the size of the Lynn English line just blew the Beverly defense off the line of scrimmage and opened up that 3-yard hole for Ed Jenkins. And here it is on the replay. Jenkins threw a crowd into the end zone. Lynn English on top 6-0, John.
They're coming back now. We expect Jimmy Smith to try and kick the extra point. Jimmy, you remember, was the young man that kicked the field goal 2 years ago that gave English their first win under Coach Clark Crowley. The snap handled the kick. We get the signal, no good. No good. It was wide to the left. So the score is 6-0. We want to remind you, too, one of our other sponsors, Standard of Lynn, is New England's largest showroom located at 400 Lynn Way. Standard of Lynn offers you a wide array of bathroom, plumbing, and heating supplies for your home or office. Come down and see the bath collection at Standard of Lynn. There's far too many for me to mention to you, so see for yourself and visit Standard of Lynn. They're located at 400 on the Lynn Way in Lynn, or call 617-592-1200. Standard of Lynn is another fine sponsor of Lynn English football on TV 13.
Well, John, that was an impressive drive by the Lynn English Bulldogs. They did it all on the ground. That's the important thing. I think that when they control the line of scrimmage, momentum will definitely swing their way. And this is a big series of plays coming up for the Beverly Panthers.
Yeah, you gotta know now that the Bulldogs have established that confidence. They came in thinking they could do it. Now they've gone ahead and done it, and momentum building on the Bulldog side. And the worst thing that could happen for Beverly right now would be to give the football back after just 3 downs and a kick, and get that momentum back. Beverly, if nothing else, would like to string a couple of first downs together to get themselves a little bit relaxed and back into the ballgame and try and stem the tide a little bit of the Bulldogs here. The running backs, and they've mixed them up. It's been Cipoletti, Gilbert, Morris, Jenkins, throw to Lara once in a while, and so that it's been a very versatile offense for the Bulldogs. Jimmy Smith getting set to kick. Line drives it, bounces a couple of times, still on the ground, picked up by Mott. Gets a good return out across the 40 to about the 42-yard line, and Beverly has what they need right now. Good field position. They're out at the 42, we'll call it the 43-yard line, where it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Panthers.
That was Joe Manzo in on the special team tackle for the Bulldog.
So with English leading 6-0, again we see Winston Treffry on the sidelines and Mott in the backfield. Shears the fake, the give to Mott. Hit and knocked down at the 45. So it looked like a big hole opening up. It winds up a 2-yard gain to the 45. Now they mark it just across the 45. We'll still call it a pickup of 2.
That was Todd Gilbert in on the tackle for the Bulldogs.
The big thing now is the English is not giving them big yardage on first down, and Beverly's
had third and long a couple of times, and that's what the Bulldogs would like to have them in. Peters and Mott in the backfield. Shares the quarterback. The pitch to Peters, trying to sweep. Not going to go anyplace. That big experienced line for English is just knocking them down. And right now, the defense is dictating it for English. They're able to handle. Beverly is not able to open up those big holes.
I think it's the size and strength of the defensive line of Lynn English, plus the pursuit is excellent right now, coming from the Lynn English defense.
They're not able to get wide on this defense, and you try to run straight ahead. They're not big enough and strong enough so far to match Barr and Kavanaugh and Landry and Laro. Countess up front. Third and long. Shares rolling out, looking to throw. Throws it downfield, off the hands of Pisewicz and almost picked off by Jimmy Smith. Good pressure that time by Gilbert and Kavanaugh on the quarterback Shares.
Well, that's the key to any good quarterback. They need the time to throw the football, and here it is on replay. Shares is forced to throw the ball a little too soon, and therefore the incompletion.
So again, it's three downs and a kick for Beverly as Morris and Cipoletti go back deep. Shares the quarterback doing the kicking. Gets a high kick. Morris is going to watch it go. It's going to bounce into the end zone. A great kick by Shares. Kicks it into the end zone. The line of scrimmage was about the 45, so it's a 55-yard punt.
That was a beautiful punt. Shares had the wind behind his back, and he got the ball up into the air, and the ball carried into the end zone.
So it's going to be 1st and 10 English. They're going to have the ball at their 20-yard line.
I'm going to take this break in the action to bring you another message from Star Courier Service. Today's game is sponsored in part by Star Courier Service, locally owned and operated. Star Courier Service is your local total transportation service. They will provide stat, regular, or next-day deliveries. Why bother with some national delivery service when you can call on Stat Courier Service? For fast, dependable service, call Stat Courier Service.
Jenkins with the give. I believe it was Todd Gilbert, who went straight ahead, got maybe a yard on the play.
I think we'll have to wait for timeouts, John, before we try to do our commercials.
Out to the 21-yard line. Picks up a yard on the play. One of the few times on first down, the English hasn't picked up 3 or 4 yards. They've controlled the line of scrimmage both ways, offensively and defensively so far. The pitch to Cipoletti, going to the right side, gets to the outside, gets good yardage, out close to the first down. And it was just 3 or 4 of those red and white uniforms leading the way for Cipoletti. He got knocked out of bounds, I think, short of the first down.
Well, everything's going Lynn English way, and here's Cipoletti on the run. He's allowed to turn the corner and square his shoulders and move downfield and pick up some good yardage on second down.
Third down, and we'll call it 2. It's a short 2. They've got to get to the 30, and they're just across the 28. So they got about a yard and a half for a first down to keep this drive alive, and they'd like to do it here to keep Beverly away from the football. Morris and Gilbert in the backfield. The give straight ahead to Gilbert. He dives across the 30, picks up the first down. And again, the English getting a good surge from their front line, just pushing the Beverly back and getting a good 2 or 3 yards before he meets a defender from Beverly.
That was linebacker Adam Mott in on the tackle for the Beverly Panthers.
So the ball now is out to the 32-yard line, where it's 1st and 10 English. As we're coming up on 7 minutes to play in the half with English on top 6-0. Jenkins has got Morris and Gilbert. To give to Gilbert off the right side. Going to get hit and knocked down. Fell forward maybe for a foot or 2. He might have gained a yard on the play. They put the ball out at the 32-yard line. We'll give him a yard on the play. So it's going to be 2nd down and 9.
Jason Young made the tackle for the Panthers. It's one of the first times in a long time that the defensive line has made a tackle for the Panthers.
Jenkins, Morris and Gilbert still in the backfield. Jenkins fakes, looking downfield. He's got Laro wide open. What a great catch. He let him We thought the throw was at first to Lowry, who was coming from the left side. All of a sudden, Laro appeared in the picture, and Jenkins just led him beautifully downfield, and the big tight end made a great catch.
What a wonderful target he makes for Jenkins. Here's Jenkins, plenty of time to throw the ball. And there's Larzo, beautiful catch, and that was Jason Scherers who made the saving tackle. Larzo would have been into the end zone for a touchdown.
Nothing tricky about that. Laro just went straight downfield, caught the pass from Jenkins, who led him nicely. It's a first down. English at the 37-yard line. The Bulldogs are driving again. To give to Gilbert. Pounds his way ahead inside the 35 to about the 33. He might have gone a little further, a little trouble with the handoff that time, or he might have been able to go a little bit further. And right now, Beverly wants to talk about it. They're going to call a timeout. While we have the timeout, we'll remind you that Standard of Lynn is New England's largest showroom. Located at 400 Linway, Standard of Lynn offers you a wide array of bathroom, plumbing, and heating supplies for your home or office. Come down and see the bath collection at Standard of Lynn. There's far too many things for me to mention to you, so see for yourself and visit Standard of Lynn. They're located at 400 on the Linway in Lynn, or call 617-592-1200. Standard of Lynn is another fine sponsor of Lynn English football on TV 13. So I think, looking on the sidelines, we get a shot there of Coach Billy Hammer, and they're a little bit shocked. I know he didn't take English lightly coming in, but I think he thought that his offense would be able to move the football and get some points on the board, and he's having a problem both offensively and defensively with the Bulldogs.
Well, experience on the side of the Lynn English offensive and defensive line is showing through right now, and Clark Crowley's game plan to come right at the Beverly Panthers is working as they're showing strength. And they have a lot of speed to go along with that strength, John.
And you've also got that big weapon, Jenkins, when he throws the ball, who's really come of age at the quarterback spot, finding the big end. Gordon Laro, he's got a great pair of hands, good speed, and he's a forceful figure to throw to. He looks an imposing figure to throw to. He's a big tight end. So they've got a lot of weapons, and they've used quite a few of them here so far. Second down, we'll call it 7. The quick pitch to Morris, going to the right side. Falls forward maybe for a yard. Not much more than that, so it's going to bring up a third down for the Bulldogs.
That was Lon Hammer in on the tackle for Beverly. It was a fine play, by the way, by the left end of the Beverly defense.
So it's third, and we'll call it 6 for the Bulldogs. They're just inside the 33-yard line. And I would assume it might be one of those passing plays here. And Beverly, I'm sure, has been reminding everybody to keep your eye on Mr. Laro, 83. Jenkins. Gilbert, Morris in the backfield. Looking downfield. Gordon Laro was there. He cut inside, and Jenkins, I think he got rid of it a little sooner than he had to. If he waited one more second, Laro was clear, and he had the first down. But I think he threw it a little too soon, sooner than he wanted to, and it wound up as an incompletion. So now, with the incompletion, it's a timeout on the field. The coaching staff wants to get to talk about it. A big fourth down for the Bulldogs. They're at the Beverly 33. They lead 6-0. They've got a couple of weapons, and they wouldn't gain much by punting. If the ball goes in the end zone, they'd only gain around 12 yards with Beverly bringing it out to the 20. So I would expect English to try for it here.
I think that'd be a good choice, John. Clark Crowley and quarterback Jenkins were over on the sideline chatting and discussing what play would be the play to use against the Beverly defense here. They need 4 yards for the first down.
They've got to give Mr. Jenkins some time to throw. He's got some big boys up front who will give him the time.
Laro's being covered one-on-one here by Jason Scherers. Watch out.
The pitch. It's the big end around by Gordon Laro. Trying to get to the outside. We got a flag on the play. He's not going to make it. Good discipline on the part of the Beverly Panthers. This will be refused. It was fourth down. Beverly would rather have the football. But they used the end around with the big Gordon Laro, and Beverly forced him to go a little too wide, wider than he wanted to go. And they were able to snuff it, knock him down.
Here it is on replay. I think the play was a little slow in developing also, John. There's Laro with the ball. He just couldn't make the corner as the Beverly defense did a good job of stringing the play out. Of course, it all went for naught as there was a flag on the play.
So Beverly's going to take over the ball at their 33-yard line. First and 10, Beverly at the 33. Looking at the scoreboard clocks, if it's correct, is about 5.5 minutes left to play in the first half. We say that because we know the official clock is kept on the field, so it's not too far out of the way. So we've got less than 6 minutes to play in the first half. English on top, 6-0. Beverly, the give this time is to Winston Treffery, who's now in the backfield for Beverly. Picks up a couple out to the 35, so it's going to be 2nd and 8.
Big Greg Landry in on the tackle there for the Bulldogs.
They're just not opening big holes in that Beverly, in the English defense.
Well, I think Lynn English offense did a job of sorts the last time they had the ball. They controlled the clock. Moved the ball 46 yards, John.
Shears fakes, looking to throw the football. Wide open is Peters. Makes a deke, finally knocked out of bounds by Jimmy Smith. And Beverly, I think, has their initial first down of the ball game. Shears doing a nice job of faking, and Peters flipped out of the backfield.
Here it is on the replay, John. The play action fake and then the flip out to the near side to Peters, and he was forced out of bounds by Smith.
Smith with the defensive play knocks him out of bounds, and it's at the 45-yard line of Beverly, 1st and 10.
I think you're right, John. It is the first down by the Panthers today.
Shears with the quarterback draw. Faked the pass, just ran straight ahead. He gets close to another first down as he gets into Bulldog territory. And now the Panthers starting to use the play action a little bit to try and loosen up the front line of the Bulldogs. The ball is at the 47-yard line of the Bulldogs.
They're not blocking the ball. We're going to fall to 1 yard block. They get the stake back again.
2nd down, we'll call it 2. Shears at quarterback. Dropping back to throw. Looking downfield, he hits Pisewicz. Cuts it back to the left side. Gets hit. Still on his feet. Still on his feet. Good job by Kevin Pisewicz. Got hit 3 or 4 times. Picks up the first down. Gets down to the English 39-yard line.
Brian Vaughn and Damon Morris were the two men to finally bring down Pisewicz on the play. Here it is. Everybody on the Lynn English defense had a shot at the running back for.
He only made 7 yards in the play. He ran about 40 yards to get 7 yards, but it was a big play by Pisewicz. And Beverly is now going to the pass, trying to open up things. The run hasn't worked that well for him. To give the fake now. Shears looking downfield. Throws the ball deep downfield, out of bounds. We get a flag down. We'll have to see what that's all about. They had 3 receivers in the area for Beverly.
Jason Shears didn't have too much time to throw the football then, as Greg Landry was in his face as he tried to roll out here to the near sideline.
Brian Richards and Rick Forrest were 2 of the receivers in the same area, but Shears, I think, just had to throw the ball almost away. He threw the ball downfield. I don't know what that is. They're calling timeout. Beverly, I don't know why Beverly would call a timeout now. There was a flag on the play. I didn't see anything marked off, though. The ball is still back at the 39. It's good.
Jalbert didn't have his mouthpiece in. So we got the ball.
Little confusion raining down the field. There was a flag thrown. There's no yardage stepped off. And it's just going to be 2nd and 10. So it's 2nd and 10 for Beverly at the English 39-yard line. Shears with the give to Peters. Inside handoff. Good yardage downfield. And it's number 45, Keith Rivers, who picks up a big first down for Beverly down to the 22-yard line.
Here's a reverse play, and on the replay, Rivers has an opening through the center of the Lynn English defense. Finally, James Smith comes up to make the tackle for the Bulldogs.
They caught English pursuing that time. The handoff to Dana Peters. English swung left with the handoff, and it was Keith Rivers just coming against the grain, getting a big first down to the 22. 3 minutes to play in the first half. English on top, 6-0, but Beverly driving. Shears with the fake, looking downfield, throws it deep downfield. Intended for Rick Forrest, incomplete.
Damian Morris on the coverage. Sorry, John.
Go ahead.
That was Damian Morris on the coverage downfield. Jason Shears rolling out to his right when he wants to throw the football today.
He's getting plenty of time. The play action is giving him that time he needs to throw the football. And he's rolling outside. They have to make sure they contain him because as we saw him on the quarterback draw, he can run with the football. So if he gets wide to throw the football in his room, he'll run for a first down. Mott and Peters in the backfield with Shears at quarterback. Shears, the give to Peters on the little delay, gets to the outside, gets the first down, finally knocked out of bounds by Kevin Lowry. A good move on the little draw play, little delayed draw. And Beverly ran it to perfection. Down to the 12-yard line. It's a first down for Beverly at the English 12.
Here it is on replay. Jason Shears does a good job of play acting right here as he hands off to Peters, makes it so he's ready to throw the football. And Peters has some open field and moves the ball all the way down to the 10-yard line. Actually, probably the 11-yard line, 11 and a half.
Peters did a nice job of faking. He had the ball. He actually delayed a little bit and stayed there before he ran with the ball. And English just didn't know who did have the ball. To give to Peters. Cuts it up inside. Pat Barr is right there to make the stop. But he gets inside the 10. Down to about the 7-yard line. They mark it at the 8-yard line. So it's going to be 2nd and 6. As the clock is running with 2.5 minutes left to play in the first half. Excellent first half of football. Both teams moving the football. English getting the only score so far. Shears with the pitch. Peters trying to get outside. He's going to get hit and knocked down by Morris. And 53 is listed on our program as Kevin McCullough, but I think Kevin McCullough is out for the season, but 53 made a great play to slow him down, and Damon Morris made the big play to knock him down all the way back to the 19-yard line. So it's a big, from the initial line of scrimmage, it's an 8-yard loss. It's going to be 3rd down, and we'll call it 18 yards. They've got to get inside the 2 for a first down. Big 3rd down play here for Beverly. Brian Richards flanked out to the far side. Piesewicz to the near side. Shears calling signals. Drops straight back. Looks downfield, throws it inside. It's intercepted. A lot of open field. We got a flag in the play, though. It looked like Gordon Larrow picked it off. He returned it all the way back. We got 2 flags now on the play, but it's going to be Lynn English's football, and they're going to turn Beverly aside. And that's really got to give English a big pump up going in for the second half. Beverly drives all the way down close, but the 2 flags in the play are going to bring it back. But I think it's going to be English's football. I think it's after the interception, I believe.
That was a nice play by Larrow there, John. He just played center field in the middle of that Lynn English defense, and he read where the ball was going to be thrown, and he was there to pick it off.
The one thing I've seen so far is Shears looks to where he's throwing the football. I believe he was looking that side where Brian Richards was flanked out all the way and tried to lead him, and Gordon Larrow read it nicely, just stepped in front and had a lot of open territory. Unfortunately for English, the clip really wasn't necessary. Gordon Larrow was already by when the clip was thrown. They would have had the ball all the way down to the Beverly 40-yard line. Now they may just be content to try and run the clock out and end the half on an upbeat note, leading 6-0 and stopping the big drive by Beverly.
Well, the English defense bent, but it didn't break.
The give is to Morris. Cuts back off his right side, gets out across the 15-yard line, and Beverly calls a timeout. Beverly wants to try and get the football back. He gets out to the 16-yard line, so it's a pickup of, we'll call it 5. It's going to be 2nd and 5. They have to get just across, about the nose of the football, across the 21, so we'll call it 2nd and 5. Beverly trying to save the clock, hoping they can get the football back. Just over 2 minutes left to play here in the first half. As we see Clark Crowley, along with Gary Millay and Ed Jenkins, talking things over on the sidelines.
I'm sure Coach Clark Crowley for the Bulldogs has instructed his running backs to hold that football a little bit tighter than normal so that they don't cough it up here in the late going.
The big turnover is really important for English. They stop the momentum. It's a big plus for them going in at halftime, at least on top 6-0, should they be able to run the clock out. And also added to that fact is they get the football to start the second half. So everything right now is falling into English's favor. As play resumes, as we get back after the timeout, it's going to be 2nd down and 5. The ball is at the 16-yard line of English. Gilbert and Morris in the backfield with Jenkins. To give to Morris straight ahead. Cuts it back off the left side. Going to come up about a yard short of the first down. He was a step away from breaking it that time. He got a lot of room to the outside if he broke that tackle.
I'm really impressed with the foot speed of Damian Morris, John. When he gets that ball, he's off and running.
He's at full speed after a step or two. It doesn't take him long to get going. He's got great open field speed, and he's able to cut very well, too, which is something you can't teach. Treffery and Peters do that also very well for Beverly. So it's that gift that you have that you can't teach that. That's something you got to have, and the gifted running back has it. Morris is one of those. Peters and Treffery are 2 others. So right now, Beverly, again, with the timeout, they want to try and stop English on this big 3rd down play, force them to punt and get the ball back. English would like to make a yard on this 3rd down. They'd actually like to make more than that, but like to make at least a yard and keep the drive alive and possibly run out the clock or maybe break one and get some points on the board.
I don't think you see Jenkins throwing the ball in the air right now.
No, you're going to see him. Jenkins with the keep. Big haul off the left side. He's got the first down easily, almost out to the 25. And that was just the quarterback all by himself with that big front line.
Dave Bettinger and Greg Landry, credit them for helping open that hole up in front of Jenkins. Here it is on the replay. Jenkins goes over the left side and makes the first down easily.
Yeah, Kavanaugh and Bard doing a good job up front. Big line doing a fine job here for English in the first half. They're the difference in the ball game right now, offensively as well as defensively. They're out to the 25. Let's see if English takes a chance on throwing the ball here. Cipoletti flanked out. Jenkins drops straight back. Throws the ball long, deep downfield, intended for Jimmy Smith. Jimmy had to turn around. He was thrown off the off shoulder. Jenkins threw it to the outside. Smith was turned to the inside, so it goes incomplete. Not a bad play by English. If it is picked off by Beverly, it's similar to a punt. It's a long downfield. That would have been down around the 40-yard line of Beverly. And there isn't that much time left, under a minute. Around 40 seconds to play here in the first half. So
Jenkins
not a bad try by English.
Jenkins also throwing that ball into a strong wind, John. I think that helped attribute to the pass being incomplete.
Jenkins with the give straight ahead to Gilbert. Powers his way out to about the 28-yard line. Picks up about 3 on the play. And we might have one more play, and then again we might not. Depends what English wants to do. I don't think they have to run another play. Jenkins is over the sidelines talking to Coach Crowley. Now he comes back in the huddle. And I'm sure English is going to be content as we see Jenkins just standing in the huddle. Not in too big a hurry to come out of the huddle as the clock winds down. And they may get to run one more play. Jenkins keeps. There's a flag on the play. English got a little jump. The left side of the line for English jumped. So we may have to do it again. That should have been the last play of the first half. But it can't end on a penalty. So it's against English. They're going to mark off the yardage. I think they're looking at the captains are looking over the sidelines to the Beverly coaching staff wondering, should we take the penalty or should we refuse it? And there's some discussion now as we see the official come over to the sidelines. They mark off the 5 yards. We see Billy Hammer there, the Beverly coach, getting the word from the official. The ball's marked down inside the 25 to the 24. As they wind the clock up, the clock starts again, so they probably will not get another playoff. As Jenkins in the huddle, they break it out, where the official on the sideline, who's the timekeeper, is, we're waiting to see if he moves in. He's not. They're going to get the play off. The snap is fumbled by Jenkins. He falls on the ball, and that's going to do it for the first half. So it's a big first half for the Bulldogs as they control Beverly during the first half, both offensively and defensively. They lead 6-0. Stay with us. It'll be an exciting second half. Welcome back as we start the second half. One point I'd like to make, we gave a little credit. We said 53, and the program listed him as 53 being Kevin McCullough, and we see Kevin McCullough on the sidelines in a wheelchair. He had a problem, had his knee almost completely redone. 53 for English is John Pianka, and he's doing Kevin McCullough proud, wearing the uniform, made a big play defensively, so we want to set the record straight on that aspect. We also mentioned Mike Holland was not here, but it's a big first half for the Bulldogs, Donnie, and they get the football to start the second half.
I got some offensive statistics for you here, John. In the first half, Damian Morris was the rushing leader for the Lynn English Bulldogs, and in the football game, he's got 53 yards in total rushing the football, excuse me. Lynn English total offense of 154 yards. The Beverly Panthers with 63 yards in total offense. So I think that's the dictating the way the game's been going. It's been the Lynn English defense holding the Beverly Panther offense at bay.
No question. The big front line for English doing a fine job as we get set to start the second half. Morris, Cipoletti is the man in the middle. Morris is the man to the near side, and Brian Vaughn is the man to the far side. It's going to be taken by the up man. Laro makes a nice move, cuts inside, gets across the 30-yard line, out to about the 34, 35-yard line. So English will have decent field position. We'd like to thank some of our sponsors of today's games: Athens Fuel of Lynn, Atlantic Care Medical Center of Lynn, Fosse Pizza of Lynn, Stat Courier Service of Lynn, and Standard of Lynn. Helping to bring this ball game to you on TV 13. This is the first Northeast Conference game of the season. We'll have many more for you during the course of the football season, up to and including the Thanksgiving Day game, where we'll bring you both the Marblehead Swampscott game and the English Classical game. Jenkins throwing the ball long downfield. He had Lowry open. Threw the ball a little bit too far. Lowry cut it off at about the 40-yard line of Beverly. Jenkins appeared as though he looked like he was going to go deeper and threw the ball a little bit further. But strong throwing arm by the young quarterback for English.
Here it is on the replay. Someone missed the assignment for Beverly Panthers in the middle. The Lynn English scoring drive way back in the second quarter, they give them the 6-0 lead, was a 59-yard drive, 10 plays, all on the ground. It was a 3-yard touchdown, quarterback keep by Ed Jenkins.
The pitch to Cipoletti, sweeping to the right side, cuts it back inside, ducks his head, gets out to about the 38-yard line. He picks up 4 yards on the play. So it's going to be 3rd and 6. Ball's just across the 38. They have to get out to the 44. You see some of the stats there from the first half. English, Jenkins 2 for 6 passing. Third and a big 6 for the Bulldogs. Jenkins looking straight back, throwing the ball downfield to Laro. Bounces off his hands, incomplete. And it's going to be 4th down coming up. Jason Shears, the quarterback, was out there doing the coverage on defense.
I think Laro could have held on to that ball. Here it is on the replay. Good pass by Jenkins right into the hands of Laro, and he just couldn't hold on.
They may be setting something up a little later on. If they have one-on-one coverage with Shears, they may send Laro out and on a down and out, a pump. And they may go deep on that play. If Shears is going to try and cover him man to man, that's going to be a tough assignment for the quarterback.
Shears has been trying to do that all day, cover one-on-one.
Joey Cipoletti in punt formation for the Bulldogs. Kicks a line drive. Bounces, picks up by Pisewicz. Makes a nice move to the outside. He's knocked down. Actually tripped. Pat Barr did a nice job. He faked Pat Barr out, and Pat Barr did the best thing he could. Stuck his foot out and tripped him. Stopped a real big gain by Pisewicz. He had a lot of sideline left open. As it is, Beverly's going to have good field position out at about their 42. Shears, the quarterback. Peters and Treffry in the backfield. Good shot there of Jason Shears. The fake, the give to Peters, off going to the outside. Lowry meets him there. Knocked down at about the 49-yard line. He picked up just about 8 yards on the play.
Good play by Kevin Lowry to come up from his safety position to make the tackle. A good block by Dave Jalbert there on Laro of the Lynn English Bulldogs to help spring Peters free.
We'll call it 2nd and 3. Big first down. They weren't doing that in the first half, Beverly. English with almost a 9-man line. To give straight ahead. Peters, Treffry, breaks it in the secondary. Gets into English territory. Inside the 40 to about the 37-yard line. And the Panthers are driving. And it's tough for English now. They had almost a 9-man line, and if they break that initial line of scrimmage, there's a lot of open room with only 2 people back there to make the tackle for English.
There's a good run by Treffry right there as he cut back inside on the Lynn English defense. And Beverly is on the move here, John.
1st and 10 at the 37. The give straight ahead to Peters, knocked down at the 35-yard line.
Greg Landry in on the tackle for the Bulldogs.
No fake there, just a straight handoff to Peters.
The English defense did this also in the first half. They bend, but they didn't break.
Well, you know, it's hard to contain an offense like the Panthers with that running backs and the receivers they have. That English did a great job in the first half, trying to duplicate it here in the second half. The inside handoff to Pisewicz. Gets away from one man, still on his feet. And it looked like English had him stopped at the line of scrimmage. He broke away. That's the second time he's done that. He gets down to the 21-yard line of English for a big first down for the Panthers.
Here it is on the replay. Misdirection to Pisewicz. Landry had a shot at him. Finally, a good play by Brian Vaughn in open field to make the tackle for the Bulldogs, but that was down at the Bulldog 20-yard line.
First and 10, the Panthers at the 21. The give straight ahead to Peters. Almost busted. Gets down inside the 5-yard line to the 4. 1st and goal for Beverly at the 4-yard line.
Here it is on replay. Quarterback Shears handing off to Peters. Peters with good acceleration through the line of scrimmage and all the way down inside the Lynn English 5.
They went off the English right side that time. Big opening off the right side. And Peters gets down to the 4. Everybody in tight for Beverly. The give to Mott. He gets down to about the 3.
Difficult to tell who made the tackle there for the Bulldogs.
I think it was about the middle of the English Bulldog line, I believe.
Don't close up, spread them out.
The ball's at the 3-yard line. And Beverly wants to take a timeout and talk about it. While we have a timeout, we'll mention to you one of the sponsors, Standard of Lynn, New England's largest showroom located at 400 Linway. Standard of Lynn offers you a wide array of bathroom, plumbing, and heating supplies for your home or office. Come down and see the bath collection at Standard of Lynn. There's far too many things for me to mention to you, so see for yourself and visit Standard of Lynn. They're located at 400 on the Linway in Lynn, or call 617-592-1200. Standard of Lynn is another fine sponsor of Lynn English football on TV 13.
Well, this goal line stance here by the Bulldogs is a battle in the trenches.
Wouldn't surprise me to see Beverly try to use their speed to get to the outside with everybody, the Bulldogs, stacked in tight. It's going to be 2nd down and goal at the 3-yard line. Beverly trying to get the equalizer and possibly go ahead with the points after, or point after.
Spread them wide.
Cheers. We got a flag on the play. I'm not sure what it's for. He's pointing to Beverly.
He didn't have his goddamn mouthpiece in.
Illegal procedure against Beverly. It's going to cost him 5 yards.
Those are tough penalties to take down inside the 10-yard line, as they can help to ruin the momentum of the offense. Also gives the Bulldog defense a little breathing room.
Well, it gets him back to the 8-yard line now, so it's going to be 2nd and goal at the 8.
Outside. Look at this.
Shears. To give inside
Out.
to Treffery. Gets inside the 5 to the 4-yard line. So it's going to be 3rd and goal at the 4.
That was senior Pat Barr, who wrapped his arms around Treffery to help bring him down at the 4-yard line. There's the stats on Winston Treffery from last week. 16 carries, 165 yards in his game against Everett.
I don't think you're going to make a home going straight ahead against those big guys of English all the time. They're going to have to go right or left. Shears with Treffery and Peters in the backfield. The give inside. He's not going to get in there. He's stacked up. There's a flag on the play. It might be a face mask.
So we get it down.
It-
Get it down. Over.
That was John Tanter in on the tackle. I didn't see the hand up in the face mask myself, John.
There were 2 people surrounding the ball carrier, so it's going to be half the distance to the goal, which is going to bring it down around the 1.5, 2-yard line.
Give it to the big horse. Give it to Treffery.
So Beverly gets a break. It would have been 4th down at the 3.
Give it to the big guy.
Now it's going to be about 1.5 yards away, and it's going to be 3rd down again. So instead of having 1 try from 3 yards away, they're going to have 2 tries from 1.5 yards away.
Crucial penalty against the Bulldog defense right there.
Tough time for that one. Shears keeps it, goes straight ahead for the touchdown. So Beverly takes a page out of the Bulldogs book. The quarterback keeps. They spread everybody really wide on the line of scrimmage and had a couple of slots for Shears to pick. He chose the right side and snuck in from 1.5 yards away, and the score is tied at 6. Excuse me.
It looks like Bill Hammer did his homework between the quarters here, and he's come out making some blocking adjustments, and his offense looks a little stronger right now.
84, Rick Forrest attempting the point after. The snap is high. Peters gets loose, looking for the corner. He walks in. So on a busted play, Beverly takes the lead, 8-6. The snap was much too high. They couldn't get the ball down. I don't think it was a planned play. I think it was just a bad snap. But Peters made the most of it, got to the outside, and puts Beverly on top, 8-6.
Good play by Peters as he reacted to the high snap, John, and ran it in for the 2 points. Today's game is sponsored in part by Stat Courier Service, locally owned and operated. Stat Courier Service is your total transportation service. They will provide Stat, regular, or next-day deliveries. Why bother with some national delivery service when you can call on Stat Courier Service? For fast, dependable service at good rates, call toll-free 1-800-541-STAT, or locally the number to call is 595-7520. That's Stat Courier Service, another one of the fine sponsors of Lynn English football on TV 13.
Well, now we see the Bulldogs are going to have to bounce back. And with the experience they have, I'm sure they're not down. They know they put it in before, they can put it in again. Beverly is going to have a little more confidence now with that big drive and the big conversion points by Peters as they get set for the kickoff. The kick is low. It's picked up by Laro. Goes straight ahead, upfield, gets close to the 40-yard line, out to about the 39. So English will have pretty good field position as they're going to have it 1st and 10 at their 39. And they have to go back to work now as they trail by 2. So Beverly comes out on the first series. They held English with the punt, aided by a penalty, aided by another important face mask penalty at the goal line. They go in for the touchdown. The 2 points by Peters, and that's where we are, 8-6, midway through the 3rd period. The give to Morris. Following his blocking around the left side. Tries to get to the outside. Hit and knocked down. Might have lost the yard on the play. What looked like it was going to get some yardage. Beverly did a good job defensively stringing the play out, and it had to go too wide. He winds up losing a yard on the play, so it's going to be 2nd and 9.
Good play by Winston Treffry of Beverly to help string that play out along the line of scrimmage. That Beverly drive, John, was all on the ground, so they controlled the line of scrimmage in that last series.
They did it last week, 347 yards rushing against Everett. Jenkins rolling, tucks the ball away, runs upfield, gets hit, falls forward to about the 45-yard line. Good job by the quarterback. It's going to bring up 3rd, and we'll call it 4.
Andy Mott in on the tackle for the Panthers, and Ed Jenkins really put his shoulder in the Mott. He's not afraid to take a hit once he has the ball in the open field, John.
Well, he rolled out with the idea of throwing the football. When he saw everybody covered, just tucked it away and turned it to plus yardage. So it's 3rd down and 4 for the Bulldogs. The quick give off the right side. Get a yard, maybe 2, but it's not going to be enough for the 1st down. Gilbert going off the right side. The ball's at the 46-yard line of English. 4th down, and he need a couple. And they're sending Jenkins back. And with the score 8-6 early in the 3rd period, Clark Crowley's going to gamble.
That was Winston Treffry again and on the tackle for the Panthers. He didn't play too much in the first half, John. There was a report that he might have been injured, but he's taking a full turn out there now for the Panthers.
Big play here for both teams. English needs a couple. Now there's a flag. And what looked like happened in that play, they tried to draw Beverly offside. They almost did it. Jenkins tried to take the snap. One of the linemen stood up for English. So what almost caught Beverly offside, which would have been a 1st down, backfires, and it's going to cost English 5, and they're going to have to punt now. Good idea by the Bulldogs. The count, it looked like the ball was, like Jenkins tried to get the ball snapped while the Beverly defender had moved inside. But he got back, and the lineman for English moved, and they're forced to punt. And Pisowitz has been doing an excellent job for Beverly returning these punts, giving a good field position. And again, Cipoletti drives them. Pisowitz feels it at about his 17-yard line. He's got some blocking out in front. Again, he gets Beverly excellent field position out across their own 40 to about the 43, 44-yard line. And the difference in the ballgame so far has been Pisowitz returning the punts for Beverly, giving them excellent field position. The ball is just across the 43-yard line for the Beverly Panthers.
Well, the Beverly offense seems to have some momentum right now, and it's up to the Lynn English defense to shut the door on the Beverly Panthers.
English going to have to do the job right here and shut them down right here. You can't let this high-powered offense get some momentum going. Shears looking to pass, throws the ball downfield. It's complete to Peters, and that was offense by accident. Shears was about to get croaked with one of the linebackers. They didn't get a number, blitzing in, and he just let the ball go. And as Peters turned around, the ball was right. He was the most surprised person in the house to see the ball there. But it goes as a completion and a 1st down, and it's at the English 44-yard line.
There was a good rush in on Jason Shears by the middle of the Lynn English line, but Shears, as you said, John, got the ball away.
Inside handoff to Pisowitz. He's going to get hit and knocked down in the backfield. Pat Barr making a big play. Big play by Pat Barr. Laro helped out to finish him off, but it was Barr there to knock him back. Loss of a yard on the play, so it's going to be 2nd and 11.
Barr just threw his block to the side and got into the Beverly backfield almost as the ball was snapped, John.
It's a chore handling Pat Barr down there. They certainly can't do it one-on-one. Shears to give straight ahead to Treffry. The ball's on the ground. It's loose, and we're going to have to wait for a signal. After they unpile everybody, we'll have to see who's got the football.
Panther offensive line opening up a big hole
Everybody
in the
on
right
the bottom
side.
trying to get possession of the football. It's going to be Beverly football. They gained some yardage on the play down to just inside the 40-yard line. They're going to mark it at the 40-yard line. So it's going to be 3rd down, and we'll call it 7. English almost got a break. The ball was loose. Beverly alertly fell on it to keep possession. So it's 3rd and 7. Big 3rd down play for both teams here. English trying to turn them back. Beverly trying to keep the drive alive. Shears dropping straight back. Got a lot of time. Looking downfield. Going to run with the football. Flag on the play downfield. Little extracurricular activity on the sidelines. We got a yellow handkerchief down at the 35-yard line. I'm not sure what it is. It may be holding against English in the defensive secondary. If it is, it's too bad because they knocked him back at the 40-yard line out of bounds. And that's what it is. And Beverly's going to get another break. English had held. It would have been 4th down and a long 7. Instead now, they're going to get a 1st down out of it.
I think the biggest factor so far here in the second half has been the penalty factor. English virtually penalty-free in the first half, John. Here in the second half, the yellow flag's been thrown against them 3 or 4 times now, and it's helped to keep these Beverly drives alive.
Well, Beverly, with the break, gets a 1st and 10 at the English 30-yard line. And just as it looked as though the Bulldogs had dug in and held, Beverly gets a break. Shares at quarterback, doing a fine job for the Panthers. Straight handoff right up the middle to Peters, I believe. It was Peters getting down to the 25-yard line, pick up a 5. It's going to be 2nd and 5. And as we mentioned in the first half, the Beverly Panthers are now starting to control the line of scrimmage. There was a big push surge by the Beverly Panthers, and Peters had a lot of running room before he was touched by a defender.
Looks like the English linebacker is starting to overreact a little bit to the run, John.
Shears.
Oh, Jesus, get out of here.
Reverse back, and a nice job
That was there.
by Gordon Larrow, staying at home, making the tackle as Peters is knocked down, gained about a half a yard, so we'll still call it 5. 3rd and 5. The ball is just across the 25. They've got to get to the 20.
I think Larrow got a little help on that last play by the Beverly Panther guard, Jalbert.
Another big 3rd down play for the Panthers on this drive. Shears with the fake, looking downfield, looking to throw the football. Finds a man open. The pass is going to be good for the 1st down to Keith Rivers. And the difference in that play was Shears had a lot of time to pick it up. He was looking deep. He didn't have a man deep. He couldn't run with the football, but he had a lot of time to wait for Rivers to get clear. He found him inside the 20 at the 18, and it's going to be a 1st down for the Panthers.
That was a linebacker, David Benninger, on Rivers right there on the coverage. And he just doesn't have the speed to keep up with the back coming out of the Panther backfield.
Oh, look at this. Look at this.
1st and 10 at the 18-yard line. Shears to give to Peters straight ahead. Bounces off a defender, falls forward for a couple of yards to the 15-yard line. So it's going to be 2nd, and we'll call it 8. And
John Taunter and Pat Barr in on the tackle right there for the Bulldogs.
the most important thing right now is Beverly's eating up most of this 3rd period with the touchdown drive and with this subsequent drive. And the Bulldogs are going to have to dig in somewhere along the line and hold them here and try to get something going offensively. To keep by Shears, the pitch back to Peters, going to get knocked down. Good defense that time by Gilbert.
He got some help from Brian Vaughn up from his safety position also to string that play out.
Vaughn made the stop. Gilbert forced him to go a little bit wider than he wanted to go. And the ball is to the other side of the 15-yard line, so it's going to be 3rd down, and we'll call it 8. And again, we have to keep mentioning another big 3rd down play. And we would expect Jason Shears to throw the ball here. They've done it so far.
Gordon Larrow for Lynn English looks like he might have hurt his ankle out there. Johnny's been limping around and not putting too much weight on his right leg right now.
Looking for the backside of the backfield, possibly. Shears keeps it on a quarterback sneak. right straight ahead, gets down to the 5-yard line for a first down. And when he got to the line of scrimmage, he saw something. He saw a big open space. He just took the ball himself and gets down to the 6-yard line. Another big third down play to keep the drive alive.
Good play by Shears as he used his vision and quick feet to find that opening in the Lynn English defense.
The ball's at the 6-yard line. First and goal for Beverly.
I think
Jason Shears doing a fine job for the Panthers at quarterback.
Here he goes again. Watch it again.
To give to Treffery. It's inside the 5, down to about the 3.
Treffery's starting to become the workhorse now for the Beverly Panther offense.
Spread them out. Good splits, Tell him. Good splits. Lineman, good splits.
Second and goal now, and I think we're going to have a timeout or the end of the period. That's the end of the third period. So the third period ends. It was all Beverly in the third period after it was all English in the first half. The score, Beverly 8, English 6. Stay with us with the fourth period. As we start the fourth quarter, Shears over the football. Second down and goal at the 3. Straight ahead, Peters. Nothing fancy here for Beverly, just going straight ahead. Gets down to, we'll call it the 2. So it's going to be third and goal at the 2. And this whole drive has been a series of big third down plays. And up until this point right now, Beverly has made them all.
Jason Kavanaugh plugged the hole and made the tackle for the Bulldogs.
Shears with Treffery and Peters in the backfield. To give to Treffery. Backs his way and falls into the end zone. He could hit the line of scrimmage, but kept his legs going. Turned and actually backed into the end zone for the touchdown. And the score jumps to 14-6.
Here it is on the replay to give to Treffery. He finds the opening and plows his way into the end zone. And Beverly right now has a commanding lead, John. We mentioned on our break that possibly the Lynn English defense is being worn down by the Beverly Panther offense here.
Big point here for the Bulldogs. Forrest is going to try and kick it. English got a piece of it, but it goes through, and it's a real big point because now English needs 2 scores. With the score 15-6, English now has to score some 2, whether a touchdown or a field goal. A touchdown and even the 2 points after wouldn't be enough for the Bulldogs, so they've got their work cut out for them here.
Here's a look at the scoreboard clock, John, and the time is against the Bulldogs. There's only 10 minutes and 23 seconds remaining in the football game.
English is going to have to open up a little bit more. They have to throw more than they would probably like to throw the football, but they've got to score and they've got to find some way of shutting down this high-powered offense for the Panthers.
Beverly starting to dominate. They've had drives of 63 and 65 yards for their score, John.
The difference, not trying to make excuses for anybody, but English, you can see the kids down there, the front line for English having to go both ways, and the entire front line going both ways. You've got to start to wear out a little bit. It's going to take something out of you, especially when you're keyed up in a very important game like this, this early in the season. And English wanted this game very badly. They were sky high. They come out and scored first. Now they find themselves in a case of having to fight back. Forrest with a long high kick. Cipoletti goes back, gets it inside his 10-yard line. Straight up the field, gets out across the 25, out to about the 29-yard line. English has had pretty good field position, but Beverly now has made a few adjustments at halftime. They've forced English's offense to go a little bit wider than it wanted to, and they've strung it out quite a bit. And Morrison and some of the halfbacks have not been able to go wide, and that's been a big difference here in the second half.
A lot of experience on that Panther defensive line. Jalbert, Costa, Richards, Young, and White are all seniors.
Cipoletti with the toss, going to the right side, gets across the 30, out to about the 32. Picked up maybe 3 on the play.
With the clock ticking down on the Bulldogs now, John, I don't think they can afford to run the ball wide as often as they have against Beverly.
Well, they can't afford to panic really either. It's you know, any kind of a score. We've seen Jimmy Smith, 1 touchdown, And then if they get close, we've seen Jimmy Smith in the past win them a game with a field goal, so I'm sure that's in the back of Clark's mind. The give, the inside give, that looked like Gordon Laro lining up in the backfield, getting the give, getting out across the 35 or just to the 35.
I think the English offense misses Holland in the backfield there. It kind of frees Laro to go out wide and become the split end or a tight end, wherever they want to put him.
Well, also with giving us another fine receiver with Holland. He's got a great pair of hands. Big third down play here. We've been talking about third down plays all day. This is another one. Third, and we'll call it 3. Jenkins dropping back. Out to Morris. Can't handle the football. We're waiting to see if he calls an incomplete pass or he didn't call it a pass. It was important that Morris fell on the football. It was a lateral. It was a live football. And it's going to be 4th down, and English is going to have to turn it over to Beverly again.
Good play by the defensive end of the Beverly Panthers, Dave Jalbert, as he was standing there just waiting for Morris to receive that play.
As we mentioned, a good play on Morris's part, too, because if he thinks it's an incomplete pass and walks away, Beverly recovers. It's their football. Cipoletti back in punt formation. Cipoletti, line drive, takes a bounce away. Peters picks it up on the run, gets into English territory, puts his head down, gets inside the 40-yard line to about the 39. And the story of the ball game right now has been the punt returns of Beverly. They've given them this time it was Peters. The few other times it was Kevin Piesowitz had given them excellent field position. And here they are again just inside the 40 of the Bulldogs.
Very important now for the Bulldog defense to buckle down as the Panthers have driven for touchdown scores on their last 2 possessions.
They can't let Beverly put any kind of points on the board here now. Defensively, they've got to come up with something here to stop Beverly.
I think they need a turnover, John.
Shares at the quarterback spot. Drops straight back to throw the football. Looks over the middle. Almost picked off. It is picked off. Dave Bettinger still with the football. Finally knocked down at about the 28-yard line. Good job by Bettinger as he picked off the pass that was deflected.
Oh, we mentioned turnover, John, and Lynn English comes up with a big turnover. The ball was being knocked around like a hot potato. We can see it here on the replay. As Shares drops back to pass, has a man open in the middle, goes off the hands of...
That was Todd Gilbert.
For Todd Gilbert, thank you. And then the pick off by Bettinger. And Lynn English has the ball back, John.
Gilbert probably thought I just missed an interception, probably getting down a little bit. Then he had to turn into a blocker very quickly as he turned back and saw Bettinger with the ball. So English gets a break.
And hopefully
some their own 28. Laro and Manzo flanked out. Jenkins throwing the ball deep downfield, overthrowing Jimmy Smith.
It looked like there was a little contact way downfield there, but there was no penalty flag on the play.
Yeah, Jimmy Smith had to run through 2 defenders to try and get to the ball. That time, Jenkins didn't loft it up like he's been doing. It was sort of a line drive, and Jimmy Smith wasn't able to run under it. So it's going to be 2nd and 10.
That was Dana Peters on the coverage for Beverly.
English trying to battle back. They're at their own 28-yard line with a 2nd and 10. They trail 15-6. Jenkins with a draw play to Cipoletti. Stays on his feet. Finally gets out to the 33-yard line. Picks up about 4 on the play. It's going to be 3rd and 6.
Good play by Jason Shares, making the tackle defensively for Beverly. He's played a strong game both offensively and defensively today for the Panthers.
And that was a case where, again, where Cipoletti was just a step or a step and a half away from breaking a long gainer. He had room, and just as he veered to his left, he was hit. A second sooner, he had got to the sidelines. He would have had a big gainer, and at least a first down to keep a drive alive. Now they need a big 6 yards on this 3rd down play to give Cipoletti rolling, looking downfield. Throws the ball deep. He's got a man there. Manzo was there.
Well, English tries the trick play, and they almost had it, John.
Cipoletti, who played a lot of quarterback last year and ran that play quite a bit from the halfback spot last year, had a man open, and Manzo looked like he slowed down a little bit on that play.
John, I think one of the differences here in the second half is when Lynn English running backs get the ball coming through the line of scrimmage. In the first half, they weren't being touched. Now, at least the Panthers are starting to hit them off stride, knock them off balance as they cut across the line of scrimmage, and they can't get the big gain.
Beverly, Cipoletti, take care of the snap, just gets the pass away. There's a flag on the play. There's a flag on the play as the ball is downed at the 40-yard line, and we're going to see who the penalty is against.
I think it's going against Beverly, John.
Yeah. While we're waiting to see what this penalty is, we'll mention the Standard of Lynn is New England's largest showroom located at 400 Lynn Way. Standard of Lynn offers you a wide array of bathroom, plumbing, and heating supplies for your home or office. Come down and see the bath collection at Standard of Lynn. There's far too many things for me to mention to you, so see for yourself and visit Standard of Lynn. They're located at 400 on the Lynn Way in Lynn, or call 617-592-1200. Standard of Lynn is another fine sponsor of Lynn English football on TV 13.
Well, English will keep the football as the penalty did go against Beverly, John. And Coach Clark Crowley over there talking to Ed Jenkins and trying to settle his young quarterback down so he can help to drive this Lynn English football team down the field and into the end zone.
English gets a break. Beverly looked like they had a block on that time. Pisowitz, who's usually back looking to return, was up in the line of scrimmage, and they looked like they held on to one of the defenders for English going downfield to try and block against the return. Jenkins looking downfield, looking for a man. It's going to be picked off. Pisowitz did an excellent job for Beverly playing the backfield. Little lateral there by Rick Forrest, but it doesn't work. Although Beverly's going to get the football, Pisowitz made a great play, cutting in front of the would-be receiver.
Here it is on the replay, John. Jenkins had plenty of time as he picked up a good block by Bettenzinger. But there's Pisowitz as he read the eyes of the Bulldog quarterback and knew right where that pass was going to go. It was intended for, what, James Smith, I believe?
I think it was, yes. Pisowitz is still down on the field. He flipped a little lateral to Rick Forrest, little razzle-dazzle. But English right there to stop the play. But it's going to be, we see Pisowitz up, coming off under his own strength. He's played a fine ball game for Beverly. He's been one of the big differences in this second half comeback by the Panthers. So it looked like English got a break when they had a penalty on the punts. Now Beverly gets the ball back with a big defensive play by Kevin Pisowitz. And it's going to be 1st and 10 Beverly at the Beverly 49-yard line.
John, looks like there's another player still down on the far side of the field. I don't know if it's a Bulldog or a Panther.
That could be a Bulldog. The only two players for Beverly that were there were Forrest and Pisowitz. Pisowitz is up. I just noticed that now that they are still down. While we're down, you mentioned one of our sponsors, Donnie.
Good idea, John. Today's game is sponsored in part by Stat Courier Service, locally owned and operated. Stat Courier Service is your total transportation service. They will provide Stat regular or next-day deliveries. Why bother with some national delivery service when you can call on Stat Courier Service? For fast, dependable service at good rates, call toll-free 1-800-541-STAT, or locally the number to call is 595-7520. That's Stat Courier Services. Another one of our fine sponsors of Lynn English football on TV 13. Had a little trouble with that one, John.
The English player is still down on the sidelines. We get a view of, you see where we're sitting, the view we're getting from the field. Pretty good crowd here for this afternoon. This is a big game in the Northeast Conference, even though it's only the first one. Beverly picked as by most coaches as to be the powerhouse, the #1 team in the conference. And after seeing a lot of the games and results from last week, this is going to be a very interesting conference this year. A lot of good teams. Swampscott, we saw Swampscott play. They have a dynamite offense with their two halfbacks, Dembowski and Sucharowicz. A lot of veterans back. Salem Saugus with Mark Fossey at quarterback is going to be a force to be reckoned with in the conference. Gloucester, of course, with Lacano and Satira are going to be going to cause a lot of problems. Marblehead has got Bumpus and Ledbury and Adam Rand and people like that. So it's not going to be an easy road. Every game is going to be a tough game, and we're going to try and bring as many as we can from the Northeast Conference, sprinkling in some, maybe a Lynn Tech game and a St. Mary's game or two. So it should be interesting for you to follow Lynn TV 13 football, and as usual, on Tuesday nights at 7:30, you can see highlights from this past weekend, as well as scores from around the North Shore and notes from the other soccer, girls soccer, and things of that nature on TV 13 Sports Weekly at live on Tuesday at 7:30, and shown again Wednesday at 6:30, where we have some trivia questions for you to answer, win some prizes, and we may have some surprises for anybody who answers trivia questions along the way, which we'll be bringing to everybody on the program. So be sure and tune in and have a shot at those. We still haven't got a chance to look at the number of the player that's down on the sidelines. All we know is they're looking at around his head and his neck, and we certainly hope he's going to be okay. The coaching staff around him showing some concern. Here's a replay of the play. Maybe we can catch the number here. Gordon Lara was down, and we're trying to see who it is that's still down, and we didn't quite catch the number.
By looking at the size of the frame laying down there in the field, it might be Laro, John.
He's trying to get, and it is Gordon Laro, number 83, and he's just now sitting up, as you can see, with the coaches around him. So with Jenkins and Coach Clark Crowley to the left of Jenkins looking on.
That'd be a big blow to the Lynn English offense if Laro isn't able to continue in this football game, John.
Well, hopefully he just had the wind knocked out or had his bell rung, although they are looking up around his head and neck here. We don't like to see that, but the coaching staff now trying to help him up, get him to his feet, and we certainly hope he's going to be okay. You can see there right now Gordon holding his back. Gordon was not only the TV 13 Sports winner of the Player of the Week last week, he was also the Item Coca-Cola Player of the Week, selected last week for his 184 yards and catches. So he's a big part of the offense. We'll keep an eye on that as it goes along. We're back to the ball game. Shares at quarterback, 1st and 10 at the 49. To give to Peters off the Beverly left side, picks up about 5 down to the English 46-yard line. And as we mentioned before, Beverly's starting to take control of the line of scrimmage.
That was Dave Bettinger on the tackle for Lynn English. Brian Vaughn also in to help out on the play.
Pisowitz is back in the game for Beverly, so we see that he's okay. Now we hope we can see that Gordon Lara will be okay. We'll keep an eye on him on the sidelines. Shares with the pitch to Treffery. Coming to the side, gets hit. Kevin Lowry making a big hit right at the 45-yard line. Turns what looked like a big gain into about a yard, so it's going to be another big 3rd down play. It's going to be 3rd and 4.
Good tackle right there by Lowry. He really lowered the shoulder in the Treffery.
Lowry lifts him as 5'10", 175. He certainly doesn't look that big, but Mr. Treffery probably thought he hit that big because he stopped him right in his tracks. 3rd, and we'll call it 5. To give straight ahead to Treffery again, inside the 45 to about the 43, and it's going to be 4th down and a long 2. And we'll see what Beverly does here.
The interior of the Lynn English line helped to stop Treffery on that play.
When you have 2 backs like Treffery and Peters, you've got to have some confidence. I would expect them to probably go for it here. Although the way the Beverly defense has been playing, it might be better trying to pin English deep. But we'll see what Coach Billy Hammer decides. Shares is in a quarterback. He looks like he's thought maybe he was calling a play, but now they're going to get the signal for too much time. So it may have been by design, because they probably figured kicking from there with the wind to their back that they might give English position at the 20. They'd like to kick it a little deeper than that.
And the Panthers don't mind the clock running down. It's under 5 minutes now, and definitely on their side.
As we mentioned, English needs 2 types of scores. 1 touchdown, even with 2 extra points, is not going to do it. Shares almost blocked. Ball takes a big bounce. Morris feels it, immediately knocked down. And Damon Morris did the best thing he could. The ball was bouncing. You can't let it go too far downfield for poor field position. He did the best thing he could. He fielded it and got nailed just as he did. So as it is, English is not going to be too well off. They're down inside their 15 at the 14.
Here's a replay of the punt. The ball bouncing in front of Morris. He picks it up on the bounce, and that was Piesowicz who really laid into Damian Morris.
John Tauntus almost got a piece of the football. He almost got a block against Jason Scher, which would have been a big plus for English, but Scher's did a nice job getting it off. And it's 1st and 10 English at their 14-yard line.
And I don't see Laro out there on the offense for the Bulldogs.
To give to Cipoletti off the right side of English. Might they get a yard or two, and they're going to have to start putting the ball in the air. They're not going to be able to drive the length of the field. If they needed one score, possibly they could, but they need two. There we see the clock, just over 4 minutes to play.
Injuries are starting to take their toll on the Lynn English offense, John. That's 3 key men now that have been injured here in the first 2 games of the year for the Bulldogs.
2nd and 8 for the Bulldogs. Jenkins drops straight back, looking downfield. Hits Lowry, but in fairness to Kevin Lowry, the ball was a little bit behind him. He cut inside, and as he turned, the ball was to his outside shoulder. But in fairness to Ed Jenkins, who threw the football, it might have been catchable too.
Jenkins doesn't look as sharp at quarterback today. Here it is on the replay. Passes a little high over the head of Lowry, but he almost made the grab.
3rd and 8.
I guess, John, when you hit your receivers in the hand, they should hold on to the football.
I suppose you're right, Don. 3rd and 8. Jenkins dropping straight back, looking downfield. Pumps once, fakes, throws the ball deep downfield, too far. Jimmy Smith trying to get there, couldn't get there.
That was Piesowicz and Dana Morris. I'm sorry, Dana Peters on the coverage for the Panthers.
So it's going to be a 4th down play, 4th and 8. And we'll see what English chooses to do. I would think they would punt the football with Cipoletti. They need 2 scores. There's less than 4 minutes to play. Well, now the clock says just 4 minutes to play, as we see Clark Crowley looking on the sidelines.
It's 15-6, the Panthers. They scored both their touchdowns here in the second half.
We got a flag on the play. The kick is high and very short, depending on the bounce. And the ball is going to bounce only out to about the 22-yard line. So it's only going to be about a 5 or 6 yard punt. We got to see what the flag is all about. Illegal procedure against English. Beverly refuses, and Beverly right now is in the driver's seat. I don't know what happened on a punt. He just missed it, I guess. He kicked it straight up in the air. The punt only went about 6 or 7 yards. And Beverly takes control at the English 23-yard line. And for all intents and purposes, I would think that that is the ball game. English played a tremendous first half, and Beverly just turned it around in the second half. Peters waits, ducks his head, gets to about the 21-yard line, picks up 2. And the difference in the second half was Beverly came out and moved the line for the backs, and they controlled the line of scrimmage in the second half and moved the football. But I think the big thing was field position. With the punting of English was not that bad by Joey Cipoletti, not counting the last one, but the returns, especially by Piesowicz and another one by Peters, just you can't give these Beverly Panther running backs that kind of field position too many times.
One happy note for the Bulldogs. Gordon Laro is back out on the field, John.
Here's the give. Treffery breaks to the outside. He's going to go for a touchdown, I think. He goes in standing up. And you might call it the icing on the cake for Beverly as the score goes to 21-6. And you really have to feel for the English sidelines.
Here it is on the replay.
They've pointed for this since spring practice. They've been looking. They knew that Beverly was a powerhouse. They knew that they had the tools to play with this team, and they showed that they can play with this team. They played an excellent brand of football all day. They weren't able to get it done on big third down plays, and give credit to Beverly. On the drives, they made their big third down plays, and they cashed in the second half. Peters takes the pass, throws it into the end zone, and the pass goes from Peters to Keith Rivers, and that time was a design play, which leads me to believe the other one was a design play, the other two-point conversion. He just stepped up immediately, rolled to his right, found Rivers in the end zone, and the score jumps to 23-6. The Panthers on top and in control.
That was the second touchdown of the day for Winston Truffrey, John. You know, the question I wanted to ask you a little earlier, and you think the Bulldogs would have liked to play Beverly later in the season, or?
Well, it's hard to say. You always say to yourself, you know, you'd like to get a couple of games under your belt, but it's the same for both teams. I'm sure Clark Raleigh would be the first to admit that if you're ready, you got to play them sometime, and they've got to be ready. You've got to be ready. Well, it's also their first conference game as well. Both teams have played one game. Both teams had easy wins their first game. This English team is going to be heard from. They've got an awful lot of weapons. It's unfortunate that Mike Holland wasn't able to play. Not taking anything away from Beverly, they played an excellent second half. English played an excellent first half. They've just now got to try and put two halves together, and I'm sure they're going to do that. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with here in the Northeast Conference. Forrest kicks off, downfield deep. Brian Vaughn feels it. Good speed by Vaughn. Breaks away, still on his feet. He could go. Still finally caught from behind and knocked down. A great return by Brian Vaughn, and we saw him against Bosco with that great speed of his go, 64 yards for a touchdown. And he showed it right there, a quick burst of speed. And English is in Beverly territory at the 47-yard line. And as we knew they would do, they're not going to quit. Here's the replay.
Brian Vaughn showing good eyesight as he finds the opening here on the special team on the kickoff return and moves the ball well out over the 50-yard line. He's very impressive when he gets the ball in his hands, John.
He's got that blinding speed. He's only a sophomore. Jenkins looking to throw the football. Throws it downfield. He found Jimmy Smith this time. Jimmy Smith found the seam in the inside. Piesowitz with the tackle, but not before he gets to the 31-yard line.
That was the best throw of the day for Jenkins as he hit Smith right in the numbers with that pass. Here it is. He fakes out to the right sideline and finds Smith over the middle. Complete for the first down, and English is on the move.
Well, that time he was a little more comfortable back there, had some time to throw, and hit Jimmy Smith right between the 1 and the 9 on his uniform. Jenkins looking to throw outside. Complete. I believe that's Lauro. Just took the ball away from the defender. Almost an interception by Beverly.
Lauro showed his superior hand strength right there as he pulled the ball away from the Beverly defenders.
Rick Forrest, you see the replay here. There's Forrest. Lauro just rips it away and gets about 4 yards in the play as it's down to the 26-yard line. We knew English was not going to quit. The give this time to Gilbert. Cuts it inside, cuts it back to the outside. Gets inside the 20-yard line for another first down.
That was Jason Shares in on the tackle. He can do it all for Beverly, can he?
He certainly can. Jason Shares has done a great job defensively, but especially running the attack for Beverly at the quarterback spot.
I hope all you people at home watching this game are enjoying the instant replays that we are bringing to you today.
We have to mention again Zach Colton, the man behind the replays.
I just wish he could give us a little signal when he's going to show them to us, John.
You see, next week's game will be at Salem when the Witches take on the Fishermen of Gloucester.
I had an opportunity to watch Salem last week, John, and they go with a two-quarterback offense. They alternate their quarterbacks every other series of downs, and hopefully I'll get to talk to Ken Perrone during the week and find out how that system is working out. Salem is at Saugus today, by the way.
After the timeout, we get set. Jenkins brings them out. Receivers double to both sides. Looking right in the middle. Throwing to a streaking Kevin Lowry, breaking inside just a little bit too far ahead of him. Lowry made a nice cut.
He was open, and Jenkins just couldn't get him the ball.
He was there for 6 if they could have connected. Here's the replay.
Jenkins pumps again, fakes, and then tries to find Lowry over the middle. Just couldn't do it.
I know English would like to get another score here on the board. And maybe try an onside kick as we're getting down close to the 2-minute mark. Jenkins. Morris goes in motion to the wide side. The pitch to Cipoletti. Looking downfield. Throws. Finds the big end. Gordon Laro. Stays on his feet. Gets finally knocked out of bounds inside the 10. Picks up the first down. And that's another weapon that English is able to use on offense. With Cipoletti at the halfback spot.
Well, the play worked nice. Here it is on the replay. Pitch back to Cipoletti. And he finds Laro. Laro's run out of bounds by Adam Mart.
And he's a load to take down after he catches the football. He was actually short the first time when he caught it and made good yardage inside to the 8-yard line. So it's first and goal at the 8 for the Bulldogs. Jenkins fades back to throw. Quick into Lowry. Connects for the touchdown. That's the play they ran a short time ago where they threw it too far ahead of Lowry. This time, Jenkins finds him cutting in right at the goal line. Lowry connects with Jenkins for the touchdown. Here's the replay.
Jenkins, quick little pass over the middle of Lowry, and he's in for the score. And the Bulldogs creep a little bit closer, but I guess, John, it's a little too late.
21-12. And I would expect them to go for 2 here. Although, now we see them, well, 1 point either way. They need a 2-point conversion somewhere along the way. They also need a 1-point conversion to at least tie the ball game. The snap, down, the kick. We're looking for the signal. No good. It's wide to the right. So Jimmy Smith has had 2 tries, wide left, wide right. English has 12 points. Beverly, unfortunately, has 21 for the Bulldogs.
I hate to correct you, John. It's 23-12.
I'm sorry. You're right. 23. I forgot about the 2-point conversion. So it's 23-12.
You know, one thing I've noticed so far from the Bulldogs, when they do score a touchdown, they're having difficulty getting the extra point, whether it be 1 or 2 in both these games.
I'm sure they're going to work on that. And we know Jimmy Smith can kick the football. I think the problem they're having is the snap. It's not getting back there quick enough, and you know, they're having problems. Little inconsistencies with the hold of the kicker and the snapper. I'm sure they'll get that down before the season's over. English over the sidelines now, talking to the coaching staff, talking about what I'm sure coming up will be an onside kick. Beverly, I thought, would have a lot of receivers and sure-handed people up front, but they have linemen in the front line. But then they've got all their people who are used to handling the football right behind them. So it's going to be Jimmy Smith kicking off, and we'll see how they choose to go about this.
Lynn English got all their speedsters out there for the kickoff team.
Jimmy Smith getting set. And we'll see whether they kick it right, left, or center, but we know it's going to be an onside kick. The kick. The lineman makes a great play for Beverly. He was on his back. A good line drive kick by Jimmy Smith. Right to one of the linemen.
That was number 79 for the Panthers, Tom Maloney, with the sure hands on that kickoff.
English, had they recovered the onside kick, would not have counted. They were offside, so it would have gone for naught. But it was a good try by English. The line drive, and Maloney made an excellent play. He was flat in his back when he recovered the ball. Otherwise, it would have been live ball open for English. Of course, we also mentioned the offside. So it's Beverly now will be content to just run the clock out there at their own 45-yard line.
They have the workhorses to do it too, John.
Treffery and Peters in the backfield to give to Peters. He's hit right at the line of scrimmage by Gilbert, making a big hit. Falls forward for a couple. 2 good football teams, 2 of the better teams in the conference, right here.
It's a hard-hitting football game, and it was definitely won in the trenches by the Beverly Panthers here in the second half as they marched for 2 touchdowns in the third quarter, all on the ground to take the commanding lead.
Coach Billy Hammer did a nice job making a few adjustments at halftime, coming out and getting his offense in gear. As Treffery carries the ball into English territory to the 48. So it's going to be 3rd down, and we'll call it 4.
That was Pat Barr in on the tackle for the Bulldogs. Barr's played a strong game defensively today for the Bulldogs.
All the English kids have done an excellent job. They played very, very well. We mentioned before, they go both ways, and it's awful tough for these linemen to go both ways up front, offensively and defensively. It's got to take a little out of you, and Beverly took advantage of that. Peters gets to the 46-yard line. He's going to be about a yard short, so it's going to bring up 4th and a yard. And I'd be very surprised if they may not even have to run a play. I'm not sure. The Beverly stands, and the players starting to walk out onto the field, and they're not going to have to run on the play. The ball game is going to come to a close, and it winds up with a 23-12 victory for the Panthers over a stubborn and very well-played football game. Stubborn English Bulldogs. They score. They come back at the end to score a touchdown after they took a 6-0 lead at halftime. But it wasn't to be, as Beverly came on and played a real strong second half and put 23 points on the board for Coach Billy Hammer, and they come out with a big 23-12 win.
Yes, John, as you said, it was a good played football game. I think Bill Hammer made the adjustments, as you said. They won the game at the line of scrimmage. They controlled the ball in the second half on the ground, as we knew they could, is evident from their game last week against Everett. They have a winning tradition behind them. Lynn English has momentum on their side coming from the Don Bosco game. I think the winning tradition just won out over the Bulldogs today.
No question. The defense for Beverly did an excellent job the second half. They forced English to punt, and that was the best weapon that Beverly had all day. The punts was simply a case of Pisewicz most of the time. Peters one or two times, running the ball back and getting just super field position for Beverly. And when you got two running backs like Treffery and Peters, plus a very experienced and headsy quarterback, Jason Shears, you can't give them that kind of position all day and expect to hold them down. So for English, they drop to 1-1. Beverly goes to 2-0, 1-0 in the conference. And it's 8 straight now that Beverly. English has only won once in the 1980s, and that was in 1980. And it's 14 out of 16 for Beverly in this series. And the record goes now, Beverly jumps on top 38, 21, and 6 in the series against English. So from Manning Bowl, I'm John Hoffman, along with Donnie Boyle, saying thank you very much for being with us. And TV13 was happy to bring you this Northeastern Conference game. The final score, Beverly 23, English 12.